What's the three lessons you learned throughout your life and career, and that's helped you become the person today? Because I think usually people say one lesson. I'm interested because you said three.
Yes. Well, I would say the first thing is not having a plan when I started. I'm naturally a creative, right? And I could create anything. I could create money, I could create business, I could create clients, I could create, but I could only get to a certain level and a certain point, and then everything would kind of collapse because I didn't have a strategy outside of me being the sole creator. And so learning early on the business side, if we look at Steve, 15% of our financial success is based on our technical ability. The other 85% is sales, marketing, operations, and finance. And so putting that plan together was the first lesson of going, God, that's not the fun part. That wasn't the fun part for me back in the day. Now it's the fun part for me because I had to master it. But in the beginning, I was a great at my technician. I was a great in my vocation, right? Back then, almost 40 years ago, which is bananas, I was a hairdresser. And so learning to be a hairdresser, and I was doing $250,000 a year, working 3 days a week as a technician, and wanted to grow beyond that and didn't know how to do it. The second lesson was it's about the people. Whether you have team members, it's about relationships. And you know that, Steve, you're a master at it. Building those relationships, leveraging those relationships. I was just on a call with Charles Bird before this call. He's an affiliate master, and just us networking and sharing, high level leads with each other. I mean, that's powerful. And we've known each other for 6, 7 years, all through Zoom, right? Never have met face to face, but have an amazing relationship. So the relationships, that's the saying that says your net worth is determined by your network, right? The people in your tribe and community. And I had to learn that the hard way. And then the third thing, which was painful. I know we all have experienced this. If you have any kind of entrepreneur badge, right? I said every time you have a hard lesson, it's like your stripes, you're a colonel. I'm a colonel now. I don't know the highest level, right? But I'm up there for sure. And it was the financial planning, right? In 2007, when the market crashed, I crashed. We were heavily leveraged in real estate. We had a real estate development company, real estate investment company. And when everything crashed, I crashed. And Steve, oh, we lost about $10 million. And it felt like overnight. And I remember being on the floor crying, going, why? I was a good student, I was a good steward, I had coaches, I listened, I was coachable, and I was a big risk taker. And that had one worked well for me, but now I'm 45 doing these risk taking, right? That's a different ball game than when you're in your 20s and 30s because you have this
Yeah.
runway. And I remember crying, just like, why? And not like a pity party, Steve. It wasn't pity party. It was, why me? Why now? And my marriage of 17 years, he moved away and moved to Singapore. Steve, I must chase him when I moved him far away.
Yeah.
And I heard this voice in my head, Steve, that said, you know, get up. I will never leave you. I'll never forsake you. Get up and go to the people. Go tell them. I remember that conversation in my head, like, I am not telling people I just lost all my money. And Steve, I started sharing with people the lessons I've learned inside of that, which a big lesson was finances and a budget and a strategy and the long game, not just the short game. I was playing the short game. I had a long-term strategy and that was safe, but my short game didn't match my long game. And so I got my honey handed to me, Steve.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The
It's
great thing is because I had understood, it took me 20 years to understand money and understand the system. It didn't take me 20 years to rebuild it because immediately I went back into real estate, right? As soon as I could clean up my mess and get rid of the short sales and get rid of the foreclosure and, clean all my mess up because I had to do all that, which was humbling. Then I just went right back into real estate, used the money I earned to invest in my growth strategy. And so when you understand your skill, when you understand your genius, I was throwing the baby out with the bathwater, and you can't. You've got to look at, what did I learn and how do I grow? What did I learn? How did I grow? And how can I help my community not make those same mistakes, right? From being sued to filing bankruptcy to losing your money to building millions to That's business. And everybody talks about it conceptually. You gotta fail. But man, when you fail, oh, kills
It's
me.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you will fail.
Yes.
That's unfortunately, but that's a good thing. Now you're a profit coach, and I love that story because I know you. My dad always used to tell me, "Don't recreate the wheel." So you
Yeah.
learn the wheel of failure, especially tragically,